Just thinking about my Giants, a team we went up against a couple times in the Super Bowl. Julian Edelman announced his retirement. New England Patriot through and through. Of course, the debate was sparked instantly as to whether or not Julian Edelman's career, recently ended career, is worthy of a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, Edelman is eligible for the class of 2026 based on when he announced his retirement. But there's some skepticism as to whether or not he should make that class of 2026. Mike, I got to know where you stand on this. Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer?
I think when there's guys that are fan favorites and you love, this conversation always comes about. But I don't think Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer in any stretch. I think something that's really interesting is how social media handled his retirement. We go to Bleacher Report, for example. In their post, they talk about no scholarship out of high school. I'm reading it right now. Kent State QB, 1 college catch for 11 yards, no combine invite, 7th round pick. And they list all those as accolades. And although impressive that he was so unnoticed coming out of high school and college, that he worked his way to a 3-time Super Bowl champ and Super Bowl MVP, that although impressive, those don't get you into the Hall of Fame. What gets you into the Hall of Fame is how you were in the NFL. Julian Edelman was one of the most outstanding players in the NFL when he was playing. He was a reliable player for Brady. He was your solid guy who was going to get you 4, 5, 6 catches a game for sure. But there was never a time where he was a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. He was never going, weird way to compare it, but he was never going top 60, top 70 in fantasy football drafts. And if you're an offensive player and a wide receiver, he never put up the numbers that I think would warrant a Hall of Fame spot. And before I finish my soapbox right here, I think there's a lot of places with Hall of Fame. You see this in the MLB, you see this in the NBA. There are good players that are not Hall of Fame players. Ron Guidry is the type of guy who is in his prime, great player for the Yankees in the 70s, pitcher, not a Hall of Famer. Don Mattingly, same thing. He had 4-season stretch where he's one of the best hitters for the Yankees. 2 Yankee examples, but fan favorite players that just weren't Hall of Famers. And I think Julian Edelman in the NFL is a guy like that, who's just a great player, but I don't see him as good enough for the Hall of Fame, and I don't think it's that close.
I agree that Edelman just doesn't have the case. If you're going off of regular season stats, which, I think is in a super unfair pool of stats to pull from, Edelman has less career yards than Jeremy Maclin. He had less career receptions than a guy like Michael Crabtree. Less career touchdowns than a guy like Pierre Garçon. Edelman had the luck, kind of playing with Tom Brady. Now, yes, Tom Brady loved playing with him because he was very good and he was hardworking. And Edelman has had a lot of those playoff stats helped out by just being along for the ride with Brady. And even then, fewer career receptions than Roddy White, including playoff totals, fewer career touchdowns than Dwayne Bowe, including playoff totals. I just don't think the case is there. As you said, Edelman, he has a Super Bowl MVP, fan favorite, and he's been with Brady. That's going to get you that boost in the media, that notoriety. Everyone's going to know who you are, and they're going to know that you did damage to their team at some point, most likely. However, it's just obvious that different positions have different impacts. Brady, man, Brady's that guy, and Edelman's a great player, but the Hall of Fame is supposed to be that top echelon, that top tier of guys. And I personally don't have Edelman in there. So even though we might see Edelman add to his career resume with Rob Gronkowski noting that there was a 69% chance that Edelman would join them in Tampa Bay. I don't think even then that he would be at the point in regards to his resume where I'm comfortable just saying he's a Hall of Fame caliber player. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't.